And we're live. I think we're live. We're live. What's up? It's always really weird when these start because there's no one in the chat, which means I should probably get a schedule. Anyway, today is a sleepy Sunday and I'm having trouble getting going, so I thought I would surprise stream some dev. Let me explain what's happened since last time I streamed. Before I had a series of these kind of little puzzles that these little boxes could go through. Like this is a box that has one arm that's long, and when it retracts that, it has two smaller arms. And so there's a series of puzzles that these boxes kind of have to go through in order to reach a goal point. The goal point is changing and stuff, but this is how things have been. What I added this week, yesterday, and what I've been working on recently is something kind of towards the end of the game when I wanted them all to move together in concert. So let's hook that up and I'll show you what I'm doing there. So what this is I had these puzzle boxes. I showed you already a couple of the puzzles. I wanted to get it so that they can interact and that there's puzzles at the end of the game where they have to interact in order to succeed, in order to reach their various goal points. This particular one is kind of hella broken, but you know. This required a very large overhaul. I think last time we streamed, what you guys saw me working on was making it so that the player controller could control more than one pawn, so I could switch between pawns. What I'm working on now is like all of the many things that break because I just added this feature. Last night I think I got undo mostly working again. So like you can undo back through this character, undo this, move here. But that's just one of many bugs that I've introduced here. Like, I want to make it so you can't just fall down to the next level, for instance. If she falls off, she should die. I want to make it like, why is this broken right here? I don't really know. I think there's something wrong with undo where... Why is this not willing to fall over? That's interesting. I don't even know why that's broken. You can definitely see shit's hella broken at the top. Redo is completely broken. I don't even know where to start, actually. I kind of just implemented this, and there's more problems than not problems right now. So here we go. Good morning. People are starting to trickle in. Good morning, good morning. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday, Wafreak. Well, he should fall off the edge of the world. The drummer should have right there. Something else I need to make a couple of quick changes to how these things look, because I can't handle it being this hideous. This will be super fast before I get started. I want T-Bot to look like the piano. I just straight up don't like the drummer bot's arms. I'm gonna change that back to until I know what I'm gonna do there. What did this used to be? Alright, here we go. the characters look a little different. Obviously, we have some serious lighting issues right at the gate. But yeah, his deal. When he falls over here, he should fall off the world. He's not falling off the world, he's hitting something and retracting. See? Like when he falls right here, he should die. Why is he not dying? I don't know. For some reason he's undoing. Yeah. This is another stream where off stream I broke everything and then I'm too lazy to fix it, so I stream so you guys heckle me into fixing my shit. That is what this stream is about. The fact that I broke everything. Again. See, there he falls off the world. Undo is also a little bit... Like, that was a shitty undo. Redo is completely broken, I think. Oh, that's not broken. But if I switch characters, it is. Oh shit, maybe it's not. No, her arm's through a wall. See? Told you. Broken. And now I can't even do this anymore. Like, what is this? Okay, where do we even start? Where do I even start? God damn. Well, let's start by taking a look at some of this stuff in a simpler level. So the other thing I have to do at some point is figure out how I'm gonna... Alright, so up until now, there's always been one character for each level. Now is the first time I'm actually streaming 3 levels that have to interact with each other, 3 sub-maps. I have to figure out at some point where I'm going to store that data and say when the player starts this part of the game, it loads these 3 levels. Like, I have to figure out how that'll be structured and where that'll sit. I should just start writing shit down. Okay. Alright guys, here we go. Notepad. Okay, so, problems. There's so many. Falling to death is broken. Resume with multiple characters is broken. I need to save clumps of maps? Shit, I don't even know what to call it. Good morning, May. Happy Sunday. I am still yawning. This is terrible. I should be awake by now. I woke up at 6. That was 4 hours ago. I got up, I paid bills, I made the breakfast, ate the breakfast, and I'm still just like not with it. It's these overcast days that get me. I need a way to save multiple levels. Like I need a way to group them, clump them in some manner. I don't even want to think about the actual save system. That's the wrong word. I need a way to... What would a programmer call it? Like when you put data together. I need a way to store... Identify? Define? That's the word. You figure out the game. There. Make the game good. Let's just get out there, guys. I don't know. What else do I want in life? Lamborghini? No, it's too much. It's too pretentious. I'm not even into cars. So, let's just not even think about that yet. Let's fix falling to death. Make money. Yeah, no shit. Just got my... I don't know. I think on a previous stream I talked about the physical therapy I did not go to. I did go to 4 sessions. I just got the bill for that today, like months later. Glad I didn't go to it, man. This is not a stream about the American healthcare system, but if it was, I'd have some shit to say. Right, so we're gonna see how broken falling to death is on simpler levels. I already deleted the save. Which is also just fucking terrifying. Save is hella broken. Kill me. Okay. But on the upside, I think I made something cool, right? Maybe. Alright, so he's falling to death broken here. See, why did it undo that? The hell was that? Interesting. If you fall onto your arm, you don't fall to death. You just continue to exist. How is this happening? That's adorable. It knows she's there. She's just... Alright, cool. Whatever. Alright. Everyone wants a new Bioshock game? I don't have the Bioshock IP, WoW Freak. I'm sorry, man. I'm sure they're making that, though. There's no way they're gonna let that IP die on the vine. It's too good. I don't think Ken Levine's making it. I feel like I would know if he was. Shit, I wonder if they can make it without him. You know, I'm gonna dig into that, and then I'll never tell you guys, but I will figure that out. I will know. Okay, so falling onto a limb is hella broken. Oh god. You have no idea how much work it was just to get those 3 levels working together in concert and get it so that, like, the pawns can move each other. Like, attaching one pawn to another pawn and stuff. I'm glad I did that off stream because it was kind of... There's a lot of learning that happened over the last couple days. A lot of Gwen Googling shit. Probably gonna be a lot of that today, too. Alright, when you fall onto an arm, so it's going to be in the rotate. I'm going to add a breakpoint. When you rotate, I have to clean up so much shit now. This pawn has exploded. It's supposed to be when you refactor things they get simpler, but I don't seem to be eating my vegetables here. I'm not doing the good stuff when I clean things up. I'm mostly just cramming in more features. So I guess let's just add a breakpoint here. Not yet, actually. Well, I didn't want to... Yeah, you attach an actor to an actor. The thing is, the way I structured things is I'm not using any of Unreal's physics stuff at all. Things are just moving around on a 3D grid that I've defined in a blueprint called Grid World. I guess I could go into that. You guys are kind enough to sit through here, so... Grid Manager, I'm sorry. I call it Grid World in the pawn, but the Grid Manager is just a lot of information that turns a 3D point into an ID on the grid. And the grid is, I didn't come up with this. This is a known thing. Like, somebody else came up with this. But basically, it's the size of your world in X times the size of your world in Y times the size of your world in Z. And based on a single number, you can find, like, the point in 3D space in the 3D grid that you're talking about. And so whenever I have a pawn rotate, I just have it interpolate to a given location and rotation. Basically, I'm like, all right, you're moving left, go to the Grid Manager, find the grid ID that's left, set, is there anything there? No, okay, you can go there. And so I'm not using any of Unreal's actual physics. I'm not doing that for a large number of reasons. Mostly I wanted a game that I could do myself, and I'm not a programmer, and I have no way of debugging if something goes wrong in physics, which things often kind of, I don't want to say they often do, but if I relied on physics to determine if I could move from one location to another, and I ran into a problem, I would have absolutely no way to fix it. And I can't really wrap my mind around that, and I can't drop into the code or anything like that. And so I created this kind of, and for the game I'm making, it's pretty simple. Either there's objects in the grid world, the objects have an ID, the objects block a player or they don't. And there's other properties on the, like there's a, if the player's body enters this, then they win. If the player's body enters this ID, then they die. And all I had to do was like put down boxes so far in order to kind of define the world. And I found this was just a really easy way to work. Anyway, so it's not as simple as attaching an actor to another actor. I do actually do that for the visuals, but for under the hood, I need to say every time the given actor moves, check every grid ID that the other actor is in, and the other actor could be a T shape, it could be any shape. See if those grid IDs have changed, like see if they've crossed a threshold, and if they have, see if there's anything there that'll block the character. And so there's a lot of just stuff like that, basically a lot of collision work that I had to do, that I've done. Anyway, yeah. Hold on a sec. It's now warm. So. That was more information than you wanted. What was I doing? I was not talking about this. But I think I've made it very clear that nobody has to come into the stream expecting to learn. We're in this stream to help me make a video game. This is selfishness in motion. I am not the right person to teach you. There's other places on Twitch that are really, really informative. If you want to learn, like, if you want to laugh at a dumb animator learning to program, this is a stream for you. If you want to learn how to program, I mean, there's Hardly Difficult, there's, like, think, Handmade Heroes, there's a lot of streams for that. I would recommend you seek out those if you're in that kind of mood. Okay, so we've been streaming for 17 minutes and I haven't accomplished the first thing I intended to accomplish. Which is, right, add a breakpoint to figure out why when the player falls onto a limb they do not fall to their death. Why? So here's the base rotation logic. When you rotate, lock down the player, or lock down input. Set a bunch of bools. Set the translation. This is the, on a cube, there's 6 sides to a cube. This determines which one you're currently on, which one's negative Z. Figure out how tall you are in Z based on that. If you're... I don't think it matters which one of these you are. I mean, I guess I don't know. I don't know, let's just... I slept in a breakpoint. Let's just see what's going on. Did I delete my save? Because I definitely broke the save system. Spent all last weekend making a save system. I spent all week just shredding everything as I... Does this still work? Can you... Oh shit. Okay. Oh my god. Sorry, you can't see what's going on because you can't see the breakpoint. Oh yeah, we have another animator turning programmer. What's up, Doodle Demi? Sweet, guys. If you want to get into tech animation stuff, which we will do later on when we're working on tech animation stuff, and I can show you what I know, this will be a better stream for you too. Until then, Just bear with me, I guess. Or don't. Go watch something else. It's fine. I understand. So, here's our breakpoint. Come on, don't be like this. We've hit it. The rotation hasn't started yet. This is the thing that kicks off rotation. So, false. What's false? Falling onto locomotion limb. Well, yeah, we don't know what we're doing yet. That's fine. Next. True. What's true? What even are you? Let's just run through this. Yeah, that's actually correct. You are executing a translation after which you should fall. It will print, rotate, then fall, and then it will begin. Okay. So why are you not falling to death? Event graph. Where is my... I have so much shit open. Okay, when rotating... Oh, Jesus. When transforming, this executes each tick. It's rotating correctly. It's not falling to death at the end. So let's see what happens. I'm going to add a breakpoint here after the rotation completes, before it does all the checks to see the result. I wish I would have updated, but I think it did, but Unreal's just not showing me. Okay. Fall after motion completed is true. You should now... What the fuck is falling onto locomotion limb? There's nothing... I mean, you are, but why does that matter? You're falling, you should die. There was something I added a long time ago, back when I first had Z-height, that maybe that bug... It's like a feature from the distant past that may be cropping up, because I don't think I've used this bool for anything. This should never be taken, ... I bet this is what's happening too, huh? The fuck, Gwen? It's like a note to the future self. It's like I knew this was broken and I just didn't care when I made it. That's cute. This should never be taken, huh? Okay. Let's see where we end up, shall we? Yeah, we're here. Uh-huh. Oh, wow, Freak, if you want to help, by all means, man. Y'all probably know more than me. Alright. Okay. Well, so this thing that I said should never be taken is being taken. What the fuck even is this? This is if your transform is a fall. This is the fall to death that should happen. And what's this check? If... Z delta when you adjust down to ground is less than the extension. I need to change that so there isn't just a random multiply by 1 node, guys. I'm really embarrassed. I'm sorry. I could go into why that's there, but it's legacy. There's a lot of legacy here at this point. This is like shame. This is my Sunday morning shame. I needed this. Sorry. I apologize. So, alright, so what this does is this goes to that grid manager I was talking about earlier, and it says where's the ground and what is the delta between what is the delta between the ground and the pawn. Shouldn't go here because it should say, hey, there is no collision, so who gives a shit about the delta, but it's skipping all the stuff that does that because of this check, which is transformers of fall. Falling onto locomotion limb. Aren't you always falling onto locomotion limb? Where was that even set? We're set. Oh god. It's this big red box that says cut. Wow. Thank you, past Gwen, for this moment. Cool. Okay. That's fine. Whatever. So, falling onto locomotion limb. Alright, when do I ever set that to be true? Here's where it's defined. Definitely never here. Which doesn't matter because it's never called. Okay. Yeah, I only recall it here. Yeah, this is holdover from a time when I did want you to be able to fall down to lower levels. I don't know if I want that ever again. I don't know if I should store that in case I want it in the future. Probably not. I think I've already made things way too complicated. If you leave your kind of plane of existence, I think you should die. Yeah, I know why that's happening actually. But this is just silly. Yeah, I don't want this. Okay. Yeah, that's just not a feature I can support. I've let things get way too complicated. So, alright. Now, no matter what, if you're falling, you fall to your death. The end. Period. Exclamation point. Yeah, let's delete my saves and see if that fixes that at least. What else is gross in here that I wanted to fix? Hold on. Okay. Yeah. Now, sorry, I have all these breakpoints in here still. Resume the game. Good. Oh god, how broken is everything? Don't answer that question. I don't want to know. I know save is broken. Okay. You now fall to death. Apparently can no longer undo death. That's a good one to know. What if it's... What? Did I just... What? What? What the fuck was that? Okay. Did I just accidentally delete some shit I should not have deleted? I must have. Yeah, I deleted too much stuff. I don't think I checked in before I started today. I want to pause. Can I go back to... Dude, can I look at earlier in this stream? Is that a thing I can do? No, this is live. No, they won't let you just do that. God damn it. Oh, fuck, guys. What did I just do? Pervert. I definitely deleted something in here I shouldn't have. I can see the dangling. Oh, god damn it. Alright, maybe I can just figure it out. What the fuck? Like, did I lose my mind? Where's the thing where you just rotate and you don't die? Okay, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna shelf this on Perforce. Sorry guys, it's Sunday, my brain's not here. That's just gonna save it, but also revert it, so I can go back to a previous version. Oh god. Alright, thanks for the heckling ninja. I love you, Matt. Animating in Photoshop is the easiest way to do 2D animations. I'm not a 2D animator, man, but I have to imagine that is not accurate. Like, I know there's a lot of really sweet, what do you call it? There's a lot of sweet 2D engines out there for animations. If I was doing 2D, like, I have a lot of opinions about how I would do it. I think people do things wrong. I could soapbox, but I'm not willing to soapbox until I've actually done it, so I'll go into that later. But if I was you, I would look for an engine that supports 2D bone-based animation. I would do something where you can export bone data because you can interpolate between poses, which I think people underestimate how important it is to be able to interpolate between different animations. And if you're doing everything like in sprites in Photoshop, I mean, if that's your aesthetic, go for it, but if your aesthetic is not like leaning into sprites, I think using a 2D platform where you can't easily interpolate is a mistake. I think you lose a lot of power. I've heard about Spine. I've heard that's good, yeah. Okay, so yeah, so we reverted. What the fuck? What did I do? Okay. So I'm gonna do one of the most beautiful things. This is gorgeous. This is an Unreal trick that's been around forever. Absolutely everything in Unreal. It used to be you can just copy paste it into Unreal Script. I don't know if it's still technically Unreal Script or if it's something else now. But you can take anything, Kismet, anything in the editor, anything in Blueprint, just control copy and control paste. And here's the code that makes it up. And then you can just paste that in later. So if you have a map and you need to like save something from it, you can literally go select a bunch of objects, control copy, paste them in a notepad, and then bring them into a completely different project. It's such a simple thing, but it, like, there's no words for how important this has been for me. It also means you can do ASCII fixes of things if you absolutely need to. Alright. Swear to God, if I say that and it doesn't work, I'm gonna feel real silly. But it will. Epic is magical. Alright, so here's where I decided to aggressively cut everything for no reason, apparently. Bada bing. Okay, so let's visually diff this, shall we? This should absolutely be taken. This is the path that's taken when you just execute a normal. Oh, for fuck's sake. God damn it, Gwen. Okay, so this is taken. What I should have done. Fall after motion complete. Say when you fall, no matter what, you go here. And preserved this because this makes it so that you actually have translation variables when you move from one square to another. This is what sets that. It says, hey, take your... No. What is this input index? What are you doing? Okay. Yeah, so this is the location you end up adjusted down to be the grid height. You're adding in a z delta of the height of the limb if you're stepping onto a limb that, so if you're stepping onto a limb that's already extended, which you technically, I'm pretty sure I cut that feature. So I may not need to add z delta. That should always be 0. I'm not sure. I need to dig into this at some point here. This is getting really ugly. Well, it's been really ugly, but you know. I guess now is the time to dig into it, huh? Alright, several things need to happen here. First thing, multiplying this by 1 is dumb. What we need is a reroute node. Feature was cut. Okay. This is the height off of the ground that you're adjusting down to. A lot of this I probably don't need anymore, but maybe I will. Now I'm adding Z height back in. I don't know. A lot of this is fail-safes for if we do want to allow somebody up a pawn to drop down to a lower Z height. So I'm tempted not to kill it just in case. Okay, so what are you learning here? The reroute note is just for visual clutter, because I honestly, you rapidly reach a point where you just have no idea what the hell's going on. Like, I'm already there. I already can't really read this. In fact, I should try to... Oh, right, yeah. It's like, why is this hooked to nothing? Right, of course. This is the stuff I broke earlier. It's pretty self-contained. Falling out of locomotion limb. I don't even think I need that anymore. Famous last words, right? That wire is going to here. I'm gonna try just disconnecting that. Find socket extension. Socket. Okay. So, what does this do? First, wherever you are, that's where your transform starts. Second, take a look at your limbs. Get the limb that you're currently standing on. Find out if it's extended. And if it is extended, get the extend length. Plus maybe like there's a barnacle attached. And set that to be the Z height. Oh, this, alright. So what we're doing here is we're getting the location. Here we're just getting the location of the body because the body's in the ground. Here what we're doing is we're saying, oh, the body's in the air because it's been elevated by a limb. So get the location of the bottom of the pawn, where the limb touches the ground. And give me the grid idea of that. And then we're setting, there used to be more logic in here. So it used to be a reason to have two variables, but there isn't anymore. So because there isn't, let's just... Where do I use this variable? Untested. Untested xform world ID. I think I don't use it anymore. Oh god, I do. Oh, I use it over here. Okay. You know what? YOLO. That was broken. Now it's gone. Alright, so I do a lot of setting of it. And I only get it one time. And that's here. And this temp end world ID. Set this here. Sorry. I set it here and here, and I get it here. And here. There's absolutely no reason for these to be two different variables. They are the exact same thing. So it's time for this to go away. Untested xform world ID. Alright. That was from back when I was checking collision in this. Before, I used to try to check and see if I would have collision before I bothered to do the rotation. And this was massive back then, and it's been shrinking and shrinking as time goes on. And I realized I had to check collision more on the... In order to make things more robust and work better, I had to check collision on the periodically while you're in motion. So it's a totally different function now. Oh, what's going on here? Oh, Wow Freak. Yeah. Why the animators are insane one was really fun. Dude, I love that. That was a fun talk to give. I don't know how I'm going to top it this year. We have a, I usually do a funny one for the animation boot camp, and I'm going to do it again this year, but the topic is not funny. Same thing like last year, I was trying to give the funny talk, but the topic was community, and given the current, like, it's hard to say something funny about game communities. It's hard to make that funny without, you know, incurring the wrath of the internet. That was a difficult one. I really walked a line there. That was last year, and I was like, whew, at least next year will be easier. And then they dropped the topic for this year, and I'm like, oh, that's not a funny topic at all. God damn it, Lana. But, we'll see. We'll see. I'll pull something off. Got some ideas. Damn it, why can't the topic be something like, I don't know. Actually, I have no ideas. Anyway. Something less serious and relevant to modern times would be nice. Something that's more just like, here's a generic animator thing. Alright. So yeah, here we're just determining if we need to move. Okay. Find the ground. This is the ending location where we want the player to be. Because it's the X and Y delta. This is, when you call this, you say, are you moving in X or Y? So, X or Y delta plus a Z delta if you're in the air that pushes you down, defines where you are on the ground. Give me the ID that I want the player to be at. Done. Find the current, let me see. Yeah, this finds the length of the socket that you're stepping up onto. You can't step up in this game. That's kind of part of the point. So find the extension of that. Okay. Take the grid ID and adjust it down to the ground. Oh yeah. So here we're just saying, what is the grid ID? What is the target grid ID? Here we're saying, take that target grid ID and adjust it down. See if there's actually collision under it. And if it needs to, if it's like about to fall through the world or not, or see if there's ground collision. Okay. So this is a branch that's always false. That's weird. There's no way that used to be a branch that was always false. I fucked something up again. There's just no way. Let's go back to where we were before. Before, this was a branch that was always false? Okay. Maybe, okay. Sure. Should I leave it there in case I don't know what's going on? So yeah, this is an if-then statement that's always false. Cool. I should have done this a long ass time ago, apparently. Okay. Well. Anyway. So this is the length of the one that you're standing on. And this is the height. Okay, we're gonna call this, we're gonna rename temp end world location world ID to something more relevant. Actually, I guess that does make sense, huh? So this is the world ID of your target, or temp. Target world ID after X1. So after you transform, this is the target. This is that target adjusted down to the ground. This is the height that you are from when you after you adjust down to the ground, which should always be a negative number, right? Maybe? I don't know. I have to look into that. Maybe not. It's always the number of units that you would fall. If the number of units that you would fall is greater than or equal to the extension of the limb you are falling onto. Yeah. This is a feature I cut. I don't care, right? Do I care? If you fall onto a limb... Oh, crap. Do I want to support that? It's going to really change things. I don't want to support that. Let's add a comment and I'll think on it. If you fall onto... Wait, what are we finding? Is the distance greater than the locomotion socket? I might want that later for animation reasons. I might want to know that. So it makes sense to keep this kind of for art reasons. This is... falling further than target locomotion limb length. If you are, I should dig up footage from when all this stuff was in use so you guys could understand why I have it. There was a time when you could do some pretty crazy shit, but it was also not fun and hella broken. For other reasons. I have to stop saying hella. I do not live in California. Alright, here's the amount you're gonna fall. Take that and subtract. Wait, what? Oh. Yeah, okay. Shit. I have to think about things. I'm just gonna... Yeah, fuck it. Okay. Anyway, yeah. If the limb you're on is extended... This is... Find the extension of the limb that you're standing on at the beginning. And find if that... Take the amount you're gonna go... You're gonna fall in Z. And if you're gonna go down in Z more than you are extended, that's what this if statement is. Height, target height from ground. Why did I subtract them and then find if it's greater than 0? Why didn't I use a greater than? This was probably more complicated at one point. Target height from ground is greater than... current local it bad that I'm like afraid to change it? It's my own fucking code. And this is get the height that you're from the target to the ground, which you're hoping is 0. Just to be clear, these two are the same thing. Right. Okay. This one is an equal. Okay. So if you're falling further than the limb that you're falling onto, then it's definitely a fall. Yep, okay. And you should die. Cool. If you're not, then because of this earlier, you're falling straight onto a limb. So you're there. That's... guess we'll allow that for now. If you're... this doesn't make much sense to me. Oh, I see. I have it the other way around. I think this should just be at the very beginning. If there's no ground collision, then you just die. I see. this makes sense. Okay. So, we let you... If I know you're gonna... There's times when you start to rotate and you would fall off the edge. But your limb hits something, so you roll back. And so I let you start rotating towards the theoretical location where you would be, even though that would result in a fall to death, knowing that you'll hit collision and then bounce back. That's why that exists. I don't want to talk about this. This is depressing. Not depressing. I don't know. I just added Z height yesterday, and I don't know if I do want to let you fall down to a lower level or not yet. I don't know if that's fun yet. I don't know what I want to do here yet, so I'm just going to leave that. This is for a translation where I know you're going to fall off the world afterwards, so again, I let you rotate towards that kind of fake location that is that isn't adjusted to the ground, because there is no ground because you're going to fall off the world. And then after that, fall after motion completed, you fall to your death. This is the actual just check, yep, fall to death, and this occurs when whether the limb is leading or the body is leading. That is what is going on. Oh, sorry guys, I've been ignoring the chat. I have a desktop PC. And yeah, I've been to Joshua Tree Attack Button. How did you know that? You saw my Twitter? That's definitely Joshua Tree. I went there in the spring this year. Good catch, dude. Where's my soda? Alright, well. This definitely doesn't feel very good, and it's a huge part of the game, so I'll be noodling this for a while. Let me figure out what the game is first. I'll probably really dig into this logic a lot more. That was your bar. Oh, I was talking about Joshua Tree, the national park. It's a national park out in California. I've never heard of the bar. Sorry, dude. Okay, so you can rotate again. Let's just play for a bit and make sure, like, I haven't completely broken absolutely everything. That's not good. Davis Square's got a lot of cool shit. Oh good, Fall to Death is just not happening anymore. Oh, and what is that? Okay, cool. What do we get? What's with the wiggle and shadow we got here? Get me out of here. What the fuck is going on? Okay, so this is just getting called repeatedly. That's cool. Stuck in some sort of loop, apparently. Let's see. So... Transform as a fall, by the way, is just a bool that dictates if you should be rotating around a point, or if you should be rotating, or sorry, if you should be translating around a point, or if you should be translating... It's the difference between a slurp and a lerp. If I've just remembered, this is hashtag programming. Yeah. If that's basically saying is a lerp, and if it is, you click the button. Fall after motion completed, if that was true, which it should be. Set to false. I see, this is probably that bool. I was like, we don't need this. Which bypassed a lot of this stuff. So if you're falling to your death... Okay, so this is the initial rotation, then afterwards I want you to do this. You know, why don't I just... I don't know why I feel like I should call that entire function again when all I really need to do is kill you. Davis Square is a pretty happening area. It's definitely more affordable than living close to Boston, too. I'm kind of out in Somerville, in the opposite direction. Not the opposite direction, but I'm further away in the other way. Closer to like the green and the orange lines, which is even cheaper. Because I'm indie. And I love my ridiculous indie lifestyle. Get really into things like cooking. I actually really do love this lifestyle a lot. Being a hipster out in Somerville. I like working from home most... I mean, I gripe about it. I miss working with people. The grass is always greener. Sweet, dude. Which restaurant did he work at? So that's... Alright, yeah, we're testing death. die again. That's great. Undo seems to be kind of working. It's a long shot, but I wonder if redo is working too. No, redo's just busted. That's fine. Is that the next thing I figure out? Redo. It's a big project. Yeah, I've never been to Stoned. There's a lot of really nice fine dining in Boston, though, I will say. I've been to a couple of those. I would say... I don't know. I would have an argument that the way you define a city is not by the fine dining, it's by what you can get for, like, $8 in your lunch break. And based on that metric is how I would judge most cities. Like, what do you eat on a day-to-day basis kind of thing? Nothing tops San Francisco. The taco trucks and the burritos and that sort of thing. New York was fun. I did love pizza. You can't get pizza out in California. Oh, you're stoned. Oh, well, that's, Stoned is a good name for a restaurant, though. I mean, it could go either way, man, you know? It could be like brick oven pizza, or it could be like, you know, a kind of tongue-in-cheek. Whatever gets you through the day, man. I don't judge. At all. Actually, I do kind of judge. Dude, it's noon on a Sunday, man. I mean, I guess it is a Sunday, but still. It's not even noon yet. Where do you live? Is it hopefully later there? Or are you just like... Are you in that phase of your life where this is acceptable behavior? It stimulates your creativity. Fair enough. I used to feel that way, and then I realized... I started looking at my productivity. Your creativity may go up. Your productivity... I don't know, man. I'm not gonna say that you should get high and play Darkest Dungeon, but it's not the worst idea. Got it, cool. Alright, we have to stop. This is not a stream about politics or drugs, guys. So next somebody's gonna bring up religion. Jesus Christ. Then no one's gonna follow this. So, there'll be controversy this stream. You work Monday through Thursdays? Are you a game developer? I think we've had this conversation. You're IT or something, right? I'm sorry you live in Boston, by the way. The game dev scene here just fucking collapsed. I mean, I feel like it's always been collapsing, but it's been getting worse and worse. Like, now we've got, we just had that major layoff at, what do you call it? Disruptor Beam. Then there was the layoff at Harmonix. This is on top of, like, it's that time of year when layoffs happen in the industry. Got it. Doing hard labor. Making your first game on the side. I respect that, man. Solo project. Excellent. Should put it in the stream when you have a chance. I know it's only been an hour, but I am out of tea and I am out of water. I'm gonna be right back. And when I get back, we will fix more bugs that I've added, because I've added so many. It's nice. Can you guys hear the rain? A sleepy day. Alright. Next thing, undoing death is broken. It's broke. Broke like a joke, and we're woke, so we can't handle that. Here we go. Wait, that can't be broken. Didn't we just like do that a million times? Undo. Oh, looks like undoing death is not broken. Looks like that is false. But there's definitely bugs with undo, right? No, that looked right. Is that wrapping? Am I wrapping now? That's cool. Good to know. Alright, resume with multiple characters is broken. Let's try and see if resume with one character is broken. We'll go from there. Let's play out a level. Boop boop ba-doop. Undo. Oh, I wonder. Hold on. Let's see if undo all still works. Oh shit, it does. Oh my god. I think I made this one thing I made that I did not break this week, and it's apparently that. That's wonderful news, guys. Alright, redo is just fucking. No, not happening. I'm already doing with one character. I like that she stutters though. She looks like she's trying, like she wants it. See, look. Hold on. I'll undo a couple. Then I'll redo. Oh shit. Maybe redo does work. She just can't redo the very first move. Ah. But I like that it like stutters, like it's thinking about it. Okay. Well, that's a much more... That's an interesting problem. I did throw woke in there because I'm trying to be edgy. I don't understand how the kids speak anymore. But I'm trying to pretend. And you guys are gonna look at Sunday, alright? And I'm lazy, so this is my Snuggie, so we're just gonna deal with that. So, because I went deadlifting yesterday, my back's all fucked. And I just can't sit like a human anymore. So, okay, so redoing the first move doesn't work. Let's look at redo. Okay. Let's see here. Oh god, yeah, of course. No, that's gonna be super broken. Oh, fuck, okay. Okay, so in order to get... Alright, if you remember last week I moved over... Initially when the game was working, it was because there was one character, one map, one player controller. I moved things over so that you have multiple characters. That was phase 1. Phase 2 was I set it up so that when you undo is not saved on the pawn because there's multiple pawns. Undo is saved in the game mode blueprint. Not really, actually. It kind of created a kind of bullshit hybrid system, which I'm gonna deeply regret very soon. Soon I'm gonna have another stream where I'm complaining about the shit I did in the past. But, basically, the current save index is, pushed to the pawn from the game mode. If I was starting this from scratch, I would do this all in a totally different way. I wouldn't be storing the movements on the pawn. for the pawn. I would be storing everything in the game mode. I might have to move over to that at some point. Kind of want to make sure the game's fun before I put in a lot of work in refactoring, that sort of thing. So I just want undo and redo to work for now. That's my excuse. I think it's good. Did I fix the problem? The problem I had earlier today? Death is working again. Or falling to death is working again. The problem now is redo. Specifically redoing the first index. Let's see. Basically the save index, I'm acting like I did before, where I still have an array of player moves. How am I going to explain this? So there's the user inputs something, whether it's extend a limb, rotate left, right, translate, whatever. The user does an input, and I save that input. And I save it on the pawn that it's done on, because at the time that made the most sense. Pretty much all the logic was sitting on the pawn. If I could do it again, I would save it on the player controller. And I would have the player controller save what was being acted upon. So it'd be like this pawn, this move, this pawn, this move, and then it would be one array. But instead I have an array on each pawn, and I call this, I am not even really moving the indexes for each pawn at the same rate. Anytime I switch pawns, I just update the save index for the new pawn to be the same as the old one. Anyway, somewhere in all that crap I totally broke redo, which makes sense. It's not the most well thought out thing. I didn't totally break it. It seems to work, just not for the first index. Let's find out what number it was. You made brownies. God, what is up with my chat? I'm not, never mind. Well, freak, if you scroll up, you'll understand. I think you need to hang out with the attack button. I think you two have a lot, I feel like he would appreciate your services in this moment. Right. Let's see what, let's just take a look at some variables, shall we? Current save index is 1 in the very beginning. Can you redo in the beginning? No. Good. Current save index is still 1. This is acting like it's working just fine. Oh, there, now it's broken. Oh shit, it's broken in weird ways. What's the thing that broke it? Maybe it's not based on index, it's some sort of other problem. I need a test case. I need to figure out why it breaks sometimes and not other times. Just don't have enough information right now. Why was that the one that did it? See, I know this. The grid world is not getting cleaned up properly. So the grid world is that thing I was talking about before. There's a blueprint that stores where all of the not static meshes, where what's happening at each grid ID. It's like this is a thing that blocks the player, this is where the player is, etc. And when I undo, that's not getting cleaned up properly. So let's fix that and see if that doesn't just solve the problem. Why is that not getting cleaned up properly? Well, it seems to happen when I rotate. When the rotation is complete, this is where I kill you if you're falling. If you're undoing or you're reversing. Yeah, get the previous save index, set some variables. That's fine. This should update the grid world. It's not that complicated compared to games I've worked on in the past. You know, I guess, yeah, for a solo project I should have done something a little simpler. I have a hard time imagining a more simple game than a grid-based puzzle game, I have to admit, which is more a problem if I've been in AAA too long. Probably, Sean. If you want, you can go back to the earlier part of the stream. Start from the beginning, and you'll see. Today, I actually was careful to start out showing what I'm doing today, because I get a lot of questions and stuff. halfway through a stream. So I don't even know where to fucking start. Because there's a thing that's not happening that should be. You should never add contents to a grid tile without removing the previous ones. Which I guess it does do eventually, right? You know what, here, I just wanna... I wanna constantly update this. Those debug green cubes. Let's see here. Timer. Looping. Debug grid world. So I'm gonna do is that thing that shows those debug cubes, those green cubes. I'm just gonna call that every, I don't know, third of 0.3 seconds. Debug grid world. Yeah, whatever. I'm making a multiplayer. This game is not multiplayer. I've made multiplayer games before in the past, obviously. But that was with a team. It's definitely very complicated. Your considerations are just very different. Yeah. Let's see here. See how things are just not updating? The fuck is that, huh? Seems to be an extension. No, that wasn't on extension. That was just randomly. Extensions do seem to be the worst, though. Ugh. It only happens on undo. Right? Like things are never breaking like that. It's not perfect, like... Get Hyper, what's up, man? So, what would make it super fucked? Only on undo, mostly on extension, and on extension. Looks like I didn't feel the need to test if you're gonna hit things if you're undoing, which makes sense, but also means I'm probably not updating the grid world. Should do one big update here. I guess I could test for collision while undoing. I do feel like especially if you're reversing the transform, that's kind of important. No. Yeah, no. I don't want to do that, actually. If I'm undoing or reversing, I don't care if you hit something, I just want to go. Yeah, I think this is the key. I think I'm not doing this and I should be. That'll update the grid world while I'm moving. Okay. So the problem here is my test for this function, test for grid motion and collision, does too many things. And that's why I'm afraid to call it on undo and stuff. So what I need to do is the logic that tells you to reverse if you hit a wall and that sort of thing. I need to move that out of this test grid motion and collision and into the places where it's actually used. So for instance, how many times do I use this function? So in transform body, I use it here. Here's what I'm gonna do. Ugh, this is gonna suck. I'm detecting... This is where I do a transform. I'm detecting grid motion and collision. If you collided... Oh god, that's right. Okay. So there's all this logic for if you've collided, and if you've collided, I basically want you to do the same thing each time. If it's from a transform, I want you to set these variables. And you'll see I basically copy-pasted this into each wing. Here's what happens if an attached pawn hits collision. Here's what happens if a limb hits collision. Set reverse move partway through. Set the point where you're at to start with the reverse. Same thing up here. If the body hits collision. So what we need to do is disconnect all of these. Reverse move partway through. Because that was always sloppy and I knew it. Alright. And then I'll go into every place where I use it. So if wall collision occurred, for any reason, just do this, because that's what I was doing anyway. And then determine if you're a drum that's hitting a beat. This is logic specific for the drums here. There you go. I'll just add a reroute node to make this a little more legible. Okay. Next place I use this. Here. Test for grid motion and collision. I do that purely to update the world grid IDs. Same thing here. I don't even care if you hit a wall. Alright, in the extend limb each tick, On limb extension, test this. Before, if limb was extending, let's set these. I'm just going to do the same thing here with an if node, a branch. If then, if wall collision occurred, start reversing the transform. You hit a wall. Reverse what you were currently doing. I don't think I need this branch, because I know, yeah, I don't need that branch. Reverse what you're currently doing, start the reverse where you are. Go. Let's go forth. And this is similar. I'm calling this function purely to update the grid world ID. I don't even care if you hit a wall. You can't hit a wall. You're falling to your death or you're doing other things here. This is the function calling itself if it's a pawn attached to a pawn. Attached to a pawn, I need to be able to recurse through and know if any body has hit a pawn. Okay. Let's see if things are just jacked now. In theory, nothing should have changed. But you know. In theory, all you need is theory. In practice, a practical approach makes more sense. Let's see if I can do things like fall to death, undo. Can I rotate into a wall? Can I rotate through this? No. No. Cool. What else do I got? Ah, everything still seems to be working. Cool. So, I succeeded in not breaking anything. Yet. Made no forward progress, but that's okay. Now, transform body each tech. Actually, I think the problem is mostly an extension. So... well, those variables are clipped. Let's just get rid of that so it's not chilling in here. Wait, what? I thought I disconnected this. Guess I didn't disconnect that one. Thanks, Roland. People aren't usually nice on the internet. Glad you're here. Let's make sure shit's still working again. Let me see. Mostly I'm testing if, like... Yeah. Good. Cool. Alright, so there you have it. Have not yet broken anything. So far today has been a fixing kind of a day. At some point I'm going to want to move this other stuff out too, but... Crap. Should I do that now? Because when you undo, I don't want you to trigger effect volumes. Where do I even use those? So far in the game now, because they cut different features, the only effect volumes are when you win. Maybe... I'm going to leave that for now. So now this is a function that just does two things. Well, it does a lot, but it mostly is just checking to make sure nothing is collided. This is all collision. For the body, for each extremity, and for any pawns or anything that's attached. Are you moving into a new grid ID? There's a lot of logic in here for things like if you've... if you hit a ceiling, the threshold through which you can kind of move into another grid ID before it triggers collision and that sort of thing. So there's a lot of stuff in here, but this is just... The point of this function is to test if you have moved into new grid ID or not. And also report back if you're colliding. It's not meant to actually do anything based on that. The actual, like, hey, I collided reverse stuff is now in the actual function that's transforming you, which is probably where it belonged. So I think I can go, and when extending, do I collide? So I still have this problem that I'm not updating the grid IDs each tick if I'm undoing. Initially I didn't do that because I didn't think it was required. It clearly is. Why is it required? Why can't I just do it once at the end? Actually, wait, hold on. Well, let me... Guys, I don't ask for much, but I really think if somebody could Amazon delivery service Sean some brownies, it would really make this man's day. This is not for me, this is for the stranger in my chat. Somebody please send this very creative individual some brownies. Hey, I'm glad you enjoy it, Roland. That's cool. Shit. I have feelings that people shouldn't... I hate it when people try to teach things and they're not experts in their field and they don't really know what they're talking about. And I am not a programmer. I have used the Unreal Engine for many years, but what I'm doing here is not something I'm an expert in. And like on a fundamental level, I wasn't sure if I should stream this. I don't want people to lead people astray. And I think I'm pretty honest about the fact that I don't know what I'm doing most of the time and I'm guessing, and you're mostly watching me troubleshoot problems. So if that's helpful, cool. But, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it, to be honest. If you listen to my podcast, I was pretty on the fence about doing this at all. It's fun, though. I do enjoy it. Okay. Let's verify that the game is still broken. I don't think it's magically fixed, but you know. Specifically... So here we're seeing... The grid world is figuring out where the pawn is. And it does very well most of the time. It's updating basically every tick, and it's updating when you complete a transform. Mostly, you're seeing that The reason why it's lagging is because it's only showing the debug result every 0.3 seconds. So the problem comes when I undo. Here it's looking pretty good. There it's not. Undo did not correctly update the grid world. Undo is still not correctly updating the grid world. Let's see, the next one should be an extension. So that one was an extension. That was a rotation that updated properly. That was an extension that clearly didn't update properly. That was a rotation that worked. That was a rotation where you fell. That was an extension that definitely didn't update properly. It's definitely more stable when undoing a rotation and significantly less stable when updating an extension of a limb. Now the question becomes, so test for grid motion and collision. I feel like what's failing me is this. This is the thing that says here's the grid ID at the end of the limb, here's the body grid ID, find all the grid IDs in between. Wait, now let's back up a second. Why am I not just testing each tick? On the transform, I test for grid motion and collision every tick, regardless of if I'm undoing or not. Why was I nervous about doing that here? There's probably a reason. I'm gonna write myself a little note. I think the reason was because I didn't want to get in a situation where I'd undo and undo. Or like if I'm undoing, I felt like I shouldn't have to test for collision. But I do need to update the grid world. Let's look at my debug. I was very proud that I bothered to put in debug logic like this. And it was really easy, and I shouldn't be proud because it's not that big of a deal. But I was like, I'm a real goddamn developer today. Alright. Undo. It's not working really. At all. It's fascinating. thing that's telling the grid world, hey, the limb's not here anymore, the limb's over here. Looked like the body ID was getting updated, so we have that, right? Okay, so cool. Extend the matchstick. Where do I even start? What's my plan here? I feel like I'm going in circles. It's a very embarrassing stream for me today. Why do you feel the need to do this here but not in rotation? And even weirder, why do we only do it to the opposite limbs to modify and not also to the primary limb we're modifying, like we do up here? These are the questions I have for me, from the past, the person that wrote this. Alright, loop through all the sockets that you're extending. In this case, it'll be either the 2 on the side or the 1, depending which one you're extending. Update the grid world for those. Loop through the ones you aren't, update the grid world for those. Cool. Why do I need that in this function, but I don't need that when I'm rotating? I felt like you were supposed to handle this. Just for grid motion and collision. I thought there's other questions too. Like, what is the scenario where the grid IDs be updated so they have a new location, but the old location isn't deleted, when the function that updates them does both? This is the function that does it. It says, hey, if we have a body grid ID, remove. That's an interesting thought. Let's add some print statements. Error. No body grid ID. Anyway, yeah, I take all the grid IDs for a given limb, save it to the struct that has the information for that limb. And then update the grid world to have those grid IDs be the pawn. I'm glad you liked the last dialogue box. It was kind of emotional. Not emotional. It's been a weird... A bunch of my friends got laid off. It sucks. Visceral closing sucks. I'm glad I recorded that podcast when I did, before that Kotaku article dropped and after I had time to cool off. Because I could have said some angry shit I could have regretted. Real mad about it. I mean, it's been a long time coming, that shutdown, but it was handled about as well as it could be. Doesn't mean I'm not mad, though. I don't know. Sometimes you just want to scream into the void. I feel like I know what's going on. I also feel like... Local testing socket. So when I'm testing a limb for changing world IDs, historically I would just project out a ray from the body a certain distance, the length of the limb, directly. But what I was getting was I wouldn't detect collision until, on rotation, I wouldn't detect collision until I was like most of the way through something. And visually it looked kind of shitty. So instead I've added other ray tests that are kind of closer to the corners of the box. And I'm doing multiple ray casts for each limb. And that's what this like extra bit I added down here was. That's a bit ugly, but you know, what can you do? But now I'm failing before on this part, and I'm not failing on this part because I'm not getting far enough to fail on this part, which is interesting because this part is also the thing that updates the grid IDs for the limb. So I need to move the stuff that updates the grid IDs for the limb later to somewhere where this happens. That's my theory. It's a pretty good theory. If I do say so myself. I don't want to toot my own horn. But I did write this, so I'm pretty sure I know exactly how I broke it. So we're going to add this sequence here. And that way the sequence will get called by both the raycast out from the center of the limb and the raycasts out from the corner of the limb. Because I need the corner of the limb to also, in the instance of a hit, update the grid IDs. Right? Oh shit, that may or may not make a difference. I should do it either way. Just to be... I just should. But that may not solve my specific problem right now. Right? I'm glad you like the, Hi, Ofkus. I'm glad you like the podcast. It's cool. I enjoy doing it. It's definitely gotten me used to... It keeps me thinking about the industry each week. It pulls me out of my little shell. My little bubble. And it's interesting talking to Chris specifically, because he's kind of a part of the games industry, but on the other side of things. Wow, that error gets called a lot. I think Chris is fascinating in a lot of ways. What the fuck is going on now? What did I do? Jesus Christ. Okay, I broke everything. A lot. That was the wrong decision. What the fuck? Local is true. Oh yeah, because when I do these raycasts, I just... Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, no, I should not do this. Okay. Fuck. I know why this happened. Those raycasts I do out from the corners of the box to, like, detect things early, they're, like, going to infinity. And they're tested multiple times along the chain. Okay, so yeah, that's bad. Oh, shit. Okay. Is there a better way? Wait, is that what broke everything? It must be. Oh, I'm sorry. I do a podcast with Chris Slight. He's interesting to me because he works gig to gig. His job is to set up stages for things like PAX and different conventions and things like that. So he's very much a part of the games industry. He's always interviewing game developers and stuff, but he's never actually made a game. And he's heavily involved with the press and the media, and he just simultaneously knows a lot of people, but doesn't really know a lot about how the sausage is made. And the things he does know are weird things, like behind-the-scenes stuff about PAX, most of which he can't really talk about. And, like, the petty politics that goes on in, like, the convention scene and the press and that sort of stuff. It's weird because we're in the same world, but like, literally, we're in the same world, but in different countries. He's in London, but I mean metaphorically as well. Like, we work in the same field. We both work in video games. We're both in this very big field and a part of it, but his perspective is extremely different from mine. And I'm always surprised by the things he doesn't know. And the things he does know, like, it's interesting to me. Oh, good God, guys. What have I done? Was this before this? Does that matter? That does not matter. What have I done? When did I... Is it this? Did this break everything? Sorry. What am I looking for? Tests for grid. Fascinating. What the fuck? So... Yeah, no... No shit, you dumb shit. Okay. Of course. Okay, so I was saying the limb had 0 length for every limb as soon as the extension finished. Yeah, that's not gonna work, duh. Of course. Hey, attack button, I didn't, make emotes yet. No, man. Thank you for subscribing, though. I've never... Holy shit, you're my first subscriber. I didn't do this to become a Twitch streamer. Like, for a living. I just want to stream myself making this game. It's kind of like maybe a form of marketing and maybe to hang out, and you guys are kind of really motivating me to work, I guess. 'Cause working on a game alone at home in your basement that takes months is kind of boring, and it's easy to get distracted, and having people keeping you accountable is good. That was kind of my motivation. But yeah, I got an email that I could be a partner, so I set that up, and you're the first person that subscribed. So yeah, I don't have emotes yet. In fact, tell me what you want. I'll make emotes at some point. I can't promise that I'll do it soon, because I really do want to get this working, but tell me something to do with the channel. Like maybe you want a fishbowl or something like that. Just let me know what you want. Or if you want it to be something to do with the game. And you will dictate the first emote. It's too late now, Gwen. What does that mean? It's too late for what? Yeah, actually, yeah, you're my first subscriber. Thank you, attack button. Oh, I don't know. What do you guys think would be cool? Dire goldfish. I don't know enough about Twitch to know what would be cool. Is this like you subscribe and then you can use the emote anywhere, or is it just for this channel? I always thought fishbowl would be fun. Putting someone in the fishbowl is like putting them in timeout. Spider-Man. I'm a pretty big nerd. I know there's Spider-Gwen. There's also... Hold on, I got a gift. Give me a sec, this is funny. Where's that thing? It's over there. Where did I put it? Yeah, it's over there. Guys, this is the adventure of Gwenpool. This is hard to do with the lag. I can't see when you can actually see it, but this is the adventures of Gwenpool. She's unbelievable. She's apparently pink Deadpool. I actually worked on a Marvel game and I had access to all the comics online. They give you, working with other people's IP can suck sometimes, but Marvel was sweet. because they gave me a login that would just let me see any comic ever made by Marvel. And I read back, that was back in like a decade ago. So my comic book knowledge is hella old. It's a decade old. But I used to read through them. I was back during the House of M. I was current back then. Now, who knows? It wasn't a decade ago. It wasn't that long ago. It was like 6-7 years ago. That was fun. I got to meet Brian Michael Bendis, which I guess was like a really big deal. Because a bunch of my friends were like, can you get him to sign this? And I was like, no, we're working together. It's weird. Don't make it weird. But they're all like, just get him to sign my shit, Gwen. I wasn't enough of a nerd to geek out at the time about that, and then later on I started reading more comics after I'd got like the subscription, and I geeked out about it a lot more. And then it was a good thing. Okay, extremity index. Okay, so this was a terrible idea. Yeah, well, okay, so what I was doing was, what I'm doing is I'm setting the extremity index, the grid ID for the end, to be the body. So obviously that's not going to pan out. Duh. Which means I have to figure out what the actual extremity index is. Is that what I'm doing up here? Local extremity index. Where am I getting that? I see. Get the up vector of the socket that I've attached the limb to. Get the length of the limb. Add that world space vector to the location. Take that location and get the grid ID. Set that to be the endpoint grid ID for the character. That makes sense. Okay. Should I just do that whole thing again at the end? It's pretty... It's weird to copy paste, but... On the other hand, it's not like this is the cleanest code base ever here, guys. Should that be a function? Oh, it feels like a waste making that a function. I don't know. That and grid ID for each limb. Okay. Alright, let's see what we got here. That's weird. That's a new one. Before, at least it was fine for this stuff. What the holy hell are you doing there? Alright, guys. I think I need lunch. I see no end in sight to this. There's gonna be no good breaking point. I'm gonna go make myself some lunch. Maybe I'll be back later to bang my head on this. I will definitely be streaming tomorrow, though. Monday is stream day. Sorry to end on a low note. It's just after I fix this, there's just gonna be more bugs. This is just bug fix day. Maybe by tomorrow we'll be done with bug fixing and we'll be on to something more exciting. But thanks everybody for hanging out. It's been fun. And thanks for the sub, man. That was cool.